Good evening and welcome to the Township of Bedminster. This is our November 1st, 2021 regularly scheduled meeting of the Township Committee. I'll recognize that we have a quorum in attendance tonight with Committeeman Stevenson, Committeeman Hickey, Committeeman Reski, and myself in attendance. Committeewoman Fernandez is excused with an absence. Ms. Ray, may we please have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Sure. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News Somerville, Burnsville News Whippany, and to all subscribers and posted at the Township Municipal Building on January 7, 2021.
Great, thank you. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Okay, so as we've been doing for a year and a half, we've been going through the COVID numbers. So for November 1st, we are, as a town, at 519 confirmed cases of COVID. And I think I said this at the last meeting, that the frequency at which we are seeing positive cases come through, that has been declining. Certainly the rate of positive cases coming through is declining. The 519 number is up 4 from our prior meeting, which was October 18th. And looking at the COVID dashboard site for Somerset County, it's tracking by town, also within the towns. It's saying how you're doing per day, and you can see that there's days that we go 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days without any positives, and then 1, maybe 2, and this is certainly a reduction in frequency from what we had seen before. We remain at 5 fatalities. For the vaccination rates, and as I've been doing, we're going to cover those percentages with at least 1 dose, and then the percentages with the full regimen. That's the 2 doses for now. So for across Bedminster, for all ages, under 12, over 12, the number is 78%, 12 to 17, 80%, 12 and over, so 12 and all the way up, 87%, 18 and over, 88%, 30 and over, 88%, 65 and over, 110%. Once again, this is directly from the state website, and the state is taking the census data. And is the census data completely accurate? Is this old data? Is it new data? Have people moved? Have people? It's supposed to follow the aging under the census data. I just throw it out there that relatively we have a high percentage of Bedminster residents who have been vaccinated with at least 1 dose. Similarly, for the full regimen, all ages, 72%, 12 to 17, 72%, 12 and over, 80%, 18 and over, 81%, 30 and over, 81%. So the 18 and over and 30 over still at the same percentages. 65 and over, the full regimen is 103%. We don't have data yet on boosters or the 3rd shot coming up, but I will say, looking at these percentages compared to our last meeting on October 18th, all the numbers are roughly up about 1%. So we're also seeing, that it's not that those percentages are stagnating, they're still going up, but they're not going up to the degree that we had been seeing previously in the year. However, we, Bedminster Township, is certainly doing our effort to promote the vaccines. Robin is going to go over the vaccination totals that came through the drive-through clinic that was held on Saturday. And while we're all together, and we've got the audience, we'll also be doing another vaccination clinic at the Farmers Market on November 13th. and they'll be offering first, second, and third doses. I believe it's J&J and Pfizer. I'm not sure if we're going to have Moderna at the farmers market, but certainly first, second, and third doses for J&J and Moderna at the farmers market, 10 to 1, November 13th. One other thing, and I'm going to put this to COVID, is that COVID has certainly, and we did this in the very beginning, right? We talked about the stresses that come with the pandemic, the lockdown orders, and the impact this has on families. I'm sorry to report that there was a death of a Bedminster child that was made aware to us. And, I don't know the family personally, but certainly we all know friends, we all have friends who know that family. Our heart grieves for the family, and just be mindful that COVID is not just the impact of getting the disease, getting the shot, but also all these other extra forces that come down on us and creates a mental health crisis that's out there. So it's real. And we put this information together when we did our reporting a year and a half ago, because we recognized that with lockdowns, right, if you were in a bad family situation, you may not be able to escape it. We put that resource, the list of resources together. We included Somerset County mental health phone numbers and emails, and once again, I'm just going to put it out there. For Somerset County, it's the Family Crisis Intervention Unit. And if anyone has an issue or they're aware of someone who has an issue, you can email, and the email is familycrisis, one word, at co.somerset.nj.us. Once again, that's familycrisis at co.somerset.nj.us, and the phone number from the Family Crisis Intervention Unit is 908-704-6330. Once again, our hearts break for the family. And just a brief moment of silence to think of the family and those who are grieving. Thank you. Next, at the last meeting, we talked about that Palermo, the preservation of the Palermo property on Burnt Mills Road was imminent. And the closing did actually occur on October 26th. And that property was preserved under an agricultural program, and it was at very minimal expense from Bedminster, and I'm actually just trying to pull the information up right now, and my computer is not cooperating. But our participation in the preservation of the Palermo property was 50% of soft costs. That's it. And the soft costs were the survey, the title work, and really there was not many other soft costs beyond that. And I think the number that I had seen was about $8,000. The rest of the funds for the preservation of the property came through New Jersey Conservation Foundation, which teamed up with a county, both the contribution through SADC grants, and that was it. So our participation was working on the soft costs. Actually, I think I have some of the numbers here. So that was 2 appraisals under the SADC program, 1 appraisal to comply with the federal requirements, the title and survey expenses, and I believe the soft cost came to about, or at least our contribution to the soft cost came to about $8,600. There may be some additional soft costs that may cycle through, but to preserve that property, which we all know, right? You're driving down Burnt Mills Road, you know, you hit the Palermo property, and that's the horses and the fences, and so it's good to know that that property will be preserved in perpetuity. The other thing that we had talked about, and we've been talking about this for a while, is our pavement management plan. And this information came out last week, and we're pleased to announce that Bedminster received a $379,500 grant for the Clucas Brook neighborhood roadway improvements. So this is the repaving for Clucas Brook, Desiree, Jordana, O'Brien. Colin, missing anything?
You got them
Okay.
all.
So that $379,500 amount covers everything that we had budgeted for the engineering and the repaving. I think there's a little bit of grading work that's associated with it, but primarily repaving, and that covers everything. And if there are questions come up as to why that neighborhood was selected, the state grant program, and by the way, the state grant program is administered through New Jersey Department of Transportation. So one of the things that New Jersey Department of Transportation is looking at when they are identifying eligible projects is, does it connect from one town to another town? Well, it doesn't do that. But it does connect the hike and bike, which comes right at the end of O'Brien, and connects it to, actually comes up past the library, so there's a connection there. So that as part of this grant project, the repaving, it'll be the restriping for the hike and bike network. Also, since the library is there, and that library is shared by Bedminster residents and Far Hills residents, so there is a connection that's also, you know, it's open to anyone. So we know that helped push that application further up the chain. And there were, I think it's about 50% hit rate across the entire state grants. I think there was 190 something million that was awarded and about 360 million that was applied for. So the fact that we got our project in and we got it 100% funded, just a, you know, kudos to for putting that together, and to Paul Ferrero, who put the application together. Paul's our municipal engineer. So that will be on target for 2022. And the other thing that does, it also frees us up the rest of the pavement management plan funds to allocate to other neighborhoods that need this, that Doug has been working on for a while. So Doug, that's a great opportunity for DPW to target other neighborhoods that are in desperate need. Those are my initial comments. I'm sure they'll have some more later on. Now is the time of the meeting for public comments. And I'm going to go through phone and Zoom, but it does not look like we have any phone or Zoom participants. However, we do have some folks here in the audience. So what we're going to do is ask that you come up to the dais and pick up the microphone, or if it's going to be easier for you, we can bring the microphone to you. How's that work? Yeah, no, but we need to pick you up on here so that you are recorded. And before you give your public comment, what we need from you, since we don't take anonymous comments here, we're going to need your name and address, please.
Sure. My name is Patricia Rogers. I live at 220 Union Grove Road, which is right at the edge of Somerset County. And I'm here on the matter of the cider mill, which is on 206 in direct line to my house. And I'm here because of they're having outdoor rock concerts on Fridays and Saturdays. And It's way too loud. And it rattles the downstairs windows. We called the police twice. They told us that there's no ordinance for noise in Bedminster. Not until after 10 o'clock. And there's a state law that says it can't be more than 65 decibels. Well, it's more than 65 decibels. I can hear it all the way up to my house. And my son's bedroom is down there, and he's got a brain injury, and he's very sensitive to loud noises. And they're singing, and they're playing instruments, and it's all like, heavily microphone, amplified all over the place. My neighbors called me, wanted to know if I knew anything about it. I used to be on the local municipal committee, and my husband was on the planning board. This was many years ago. I know the mayor. And I was wondering if there's anything that can be done about it.
Well, I do know that the police have had conversations with the cidery, and that actually, I think it may have been this last week, that the police came up and told the owner about it, and that he immediately had the music turned off. And I think what he's done since then is that he's redirected so that rather than any music being presented towards 206, that it's now going the other way, where the music is being played in the direction of, I guess, the trees in the back. I guess that's to the east, to the woods over there. And I think the owner also told me that that there's very little or no amplification. And I think he's also said that he'll make sure that there's no drums being played as well.
Since this past weekend or weekend prior?
I think there was a complaint that came in. I'm not sure if it was in the middle of the week or last week.
Because last weekend, not this past weekend, the weekend before that, they had a big sign saying it was a private event, and it was loud.
I saw the signs. I don't know what they were doing. Was it, did they have a DJ or anything?
There was nothing they could do until 10 o'clock. There was no limit on the amount of noise they could make until 10 o'clock. We know that's not right.
Well, what municipalities generally do, they generally follow the state noise regulations.
65 decibels. That's the state noise regulation.
Well, there's also time requirements built into those state laws, so I'm not sure at what point. Oh, and sir, if you're going to give comment, we're also going to need your name as well.
I'm David Rogers. I live in the same
Okay.
address.
So we do have with us Chief Rock. Chief, are you aware of complaints or actions being taken by the owners of the cidery after getting complaints?
Martin, this is the first I'm hearing of it. I didn't see an actual written investigation report regarding the noise. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it and see which one of my officers went there. But we have been keeping an eye on it for parking issues and things of that magnitude. And, obviously if somebody calls and wants to report a noise issue or any kind of issue, we're gonna go out there and see how to rectify it. So, it's to keep the peace within Bedminster Township. But I don't know specifically when that call came in and, when the music was redirected or anything like that. And I guess the question is, has it, if it was redirected, was this a 1 or 2 time complaint and it's been open for business since then?
Yeah, I don't have that information. Maybe Ms. Rogers, do you?
I don't know what you're asking.
Well, when are you hearing this every weekend?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you heard it this weekend as well?
No, I don't remember it this weekend because we weren't looking around.
Okay.
This weekend. But the weekend before, and I went past the next day, I went past it,
my point is, we called the police, and the police said, there's nothing they can make as much noise as they want till 10 o'clock. That's not so. So the person answering the phone for the police is a cop in this. So here we are to say that we have a problem with the noise at this place, and we want something done about it.
You called twice.
Twice.
Well, police are apparently doing something because the chief may not know of it, but someone is going up and obviously having a conversation, because that's what I was told by the owner himself. So that he's been contacted by the police.
All right. Until I know when they contacted the owner, then I can't say that they didn't have any noise after that. But they're open 7 days a week. They're open on Sundays.
We have outside amplification, they're playing loud rock music, and it's rattling our windows.
Not one of these things that's just,
One time off, it happens again and again, and we're getting no help, and we're here to get help. We want help.
when they first built Cider Mill, there was no music, no nothing. This started in September.
This September. So you're saying that you started hearing this in September? Okay.
Loud.
Okay.
Every week.
All right. Well, between the chief and I, we will reach out to the property owner or to the owner, and we will see what we can do to ameliorate the situation for you. And if you could leave your information, whether it's an email or phone number, with Robin, so this way that we can have some follow-up if the efforts that they're taking are having a positive effect with you. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
I really do.
So I'll be reaching out to the owner, and Chief, if you can as well, perhaps tomorrow, Chief, you and I can coordinate to get the appropriate messaging over there.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
One more situation.
All right.
Same thing with the
I just need you to speak into the microphone so we can hear you. Sorry.
It's the church behind us. That's right on 206.
Right.
I haven't heard any music from them for a long time. And now yesterday, they started, and I didn't hear any brass, but they have this brass or bass drum. And you can hear it, their house, you can feel the vibration of it. I'm sure it's because of the lowness of it or something, that you can feel it and hear it. And I'll call the church and ask them to stop. I just want you to be aware of, we had this problem with them a long time ago, and I was part of the complainant about it. And they've been very cooperative. But I don't know what happened, all of a sudden, here we go again.
Is it I saw there's a new name up there. Is there a,
Oh, there it is.
yeah, there's,
Rejuvenation or
Yeah, it's a bit-
something like rejuvenation or something.
right.
Yeah.
Is it,
Don't know if it's been rebranded or new, don't know.
yeah. Well, that's also something, Chief, if you and I can also just touch base with getting a message over to the church up there as well?
Sure.
Okay,
His first name is Paul, that's all I remember.
okay. And that's the,
Church of Hills.
okay, yeah, right.
They were, 79.
Yeah, I know it's been I just don't know if it's a rebranding
was
or
a
if it's a
new
different
sign.
It might- yeah.
denomination.
I don't know.
But I did notice that just yesterday. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, you're doing a good job.
Thank you, I like hearing that. And you can say that loud. Okay, we have 2 meeting minutes to approve: the October 18th, 2021 Township Committee meeting and the October 18th, 2021 executive session meeting minutes. Any comments regarding those meeting minutes? If none, may we have a motion to approve both the Township Committee and the executive session meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Permits and raffles, we have none. Monthly report discussion by subcommittee chair, Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. The historic preservation meeting was canceled. We had no applicants for that meeting in September, so we'll see what happens here in October. Excuse me, in October. We'll see what happens here in November. Did have a sewer advisory committee meeting between this last meeting and today. Really, the effort is being focused on trying to figure out what sort of capital improvements we need to make to the system. I think a lot of the moving parts, if you will, are past their useful life, and so we're trying to do an assessment on what needs to get upgraded. And then the second big piece that we're working on is infiltration into the system, to make sure we're trying to limit that. With these big storms that we had recently, the system was maxed out beyond its capacity, and certainly we need to get our hands around infiltration. That's a big ticket item. But I think Randy, who we just appointed,
Rodney.
Rodney, who we just appointed interim DPW head, is also running up the sewer lines for us, doing a great job, really has his arms around the issues. So I feel very confident that with Rodney on the job, we'll be able to identify the issues and try to trouble spot and make sure that it's, getting repaired for the future.
Great. And I know one of the things that we did ask Rodney and others to look at is whether there's any funds in the American Relief Plan that would be eligible for grants for whether it's the infiltration issue or other improvements that may be out there. So we're hoping to hear some updates from Rodney at the next meeting. But
Yeah, he's really got his hands around the issues, and very impressive. So I think we're in good hands on that one.
Agreed.
And that's all I've got, Mayor.
That's it. Okay, Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. Couple quick items. Library board meeting happened a week or so ago. Please report that more in-person programs will be returning this month and moving forward. Obviously,
Good.
yes, because of COVID, obviously they were off, but now we've encouraged the director more and more. Also, we had a further discussion about joining Maine, which is a shared services consortium for libraries, but the board agreed to delay any decision until next year, in part to seek some additional clarification around financial impacts and potential benefits. Board of Health, 2 septic applications were reviewed. We also had a readout from our county representatives. Mayor, this goes along with some of the readout you gave before. Somerset County is the highest vaccinated county in the state.
Really?
That's what they reported.
Right.
12 to 18-year-olds are the focus of current vaccination efforts, given the low rates of vaccination for that age group. There was a lot of discussion as to whether clinics are an effective way to serve that group. Most parents rely on the recommendations of their pediatrician as opposed to going to clinics, so they're trying to figure out how to message that and get folks to potentially bring their children for vaccination. The county is also waiting on approval for vaccines for 5 to 11-year-olds, and then we'll gear up for that as well. And that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Committeewoman Mareski.
Thank you, Mayor. The Friends of Jacobus Vanderveer we had a meeting on October 20th. They reviewed the results of the Somerset County Weekend Journey and JVH Harvest Hoedown that was held on October 9th and 10th. It was very successful. All the docents, the people who give the little tours to the house, were busy all day long, and I heard that everyone enjoyed the sounds of Long Hill String Band. Their next event will be the annual tree lighting. This will be on December 4th between 5 and 7 o'clock. Some of the program plans include to have carolers, a poinsettia sales, hot chocolate, and a reading of The Night Before Christmas. A flyer will be sent out to all with complete details. And let's see, that's all I have for them. And Environmental Commission will be meeting on Wednesday.
Great.
That's all I got.
Okay. Land Use Board, we've got a meeting coming up this week. I believe there's only one matter on, I think it's the Chesson property. I think it's a, is it a full tear down or just
I'm not sure.
a partial tear down and then a restoration of a house? Sounds actually pretty simple. Farmers Market, and this sort of bridges Farmers Market and Rec. So this past weekend, October 30th, this really was the Recreation Department, but we did this last year as well. So the school wasn't doing really anything for Halloween. So last year, Rec picked up and ran Trunk or Treat. Ms. Ray was Rec Director at the time, and it was very successful. And this last year, we did the same thing. So we had the farmers market going on over in the first parking lot in River Road, and the Trunk or Treat set up in the field, in the first main field. And it was a little iffy in the morning. It was a little cloudy, right?
Little rain.
Little spitting, little spits of rain every once in a while, and but we were all out there setting up, and then around 10 o'clock, 10:15, clouds just went away, and we're looking up, and we're on our radios, and we're saying, "There's blue sky, we got blue sky," and then we had sun and blue sky, and then all the Trunk or Treat vehicles came in. They set up. I don't know. We had about. Earlier in the week, we were concerned whether we were going to get 8 or 9, and I think we ended up with about 15, 16, maybe even more. In fact, one car showed up, hadn't registered, and asked if they could just go out and distribute candy. We put them right in line, and we had hundreds of folks come into River Road. Colin was at the front where he, is directing people into the parking area and doing the count for the farmers market. I'm in the, directing cars this way or that way, and we're all on our radios. Who's got parking spots available? We had cars all the way back and around by the dog park, and really, talking to the folks who had set up for Trunk or Treat, they ran out of candy.
Yeah.
And we had about, we definitely had some spillover that came into the farmer's market. So our farmer's market attendance for that day was 757.
Correct.
Which, is a good number. But and Colin was giving me the updates, and he said that really as of about 10 in the morning, so 1 hour into the market, we were only maybe around 100. So that means that we had about 657 come through in that 3-hour period, and a lot of it was attributable to the good weather, but Trunk or Treat. So it was just a great job. I want to commend Gina and the rec department and Bill Rosen. They were all in attendance, handing out candy, as was Neil Mastrobuono, our rec director. Just what a great day. What a great day. So it was great to see folks from Bedminster out and enjoying themselves. And that's all I have for my subcommittees. Ms. Ray, administrative report, please.
Okay, sure. First is Black River Road, with pre-construction meeting is scheduled for November 11th, with anticipated construction to begin November 15th. Human Resources, we're still working on the Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual and Employee Handbook. It's a big tackling. IT Department, just a couple quick things for IT. Committeeman Hickey and myself met with the IT manager, Vashant Saran. We went over items for our monthly touch base. Number one, I hope everybody can hear this at home, but we have a new audio mixer in the main meeting room here. It was replaced last week, so we're hoping that will improve the sound quality specifically for meetings held over Zoom. We have upgrades to the PD server room are almost complete. The last task is installation of the servers associated with the body-worn cameras. And then with regard to the IT department, for the Tier 3 Joint Insurance Fund status, we are working on, it's actually due June 1st to implement network segmentation. Some of the goals that we're working towards for June 1st is to implement network segmentation, multi-factor authentication, MFA, which we hope to roll out the first quarter of 2022 by department. Third-party risk management, which is where we actually assess the vendors that we're working with, such as the tax collectors platforms, recreation through Community Pass. So that just makes us more compliant, and also developing a remote access policy for employees. Some of our employees log in through a secure VPN right now. This will be actually creating a policy for that. So I think that's pretty much it. Colin, anything else on IT mode that I'm missing?
I think you did a great job, and just to say, I think we're ahead of the curve on that GIF work, so.
We are.
you
We
know,
have 2 out of the 5 ticked off already. So.
Right, where I think a lot of the other municipalities aren't even at phase 2,
That's
if not
correct.
phase 3, so.
That's
yeah,
correct.
Great work by you.
I'll report out on the Somerset County Health Department. They just had a drive-through and COVID-19 flu and drive-through COVID-19 vaccine schedule. Clinic that was here this past Saturday from 9 to 12 noon. It was held at the Public Works Garage. Overall, the county administered 225 shots in total, which was great.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
a
great.
lot of people were lined up at 7. Influenza shot, there were 84 administered. Moderna COVID-19, there were 97, and the Pfizer COVID-19 were 44. Now, we don't know if that was a first, second, or third dose, but that's just total.
That's great. That's
Okay.
really great stuff.
And the next clinic, as you know, Mary, you have announced it a couple times, will be held on Saturday, November 13th from 10 to 1 at the Bedminster Farmers Market at River Road Park. Again, that's first, second, and third doses of COVID-19 vaccines.
Yeah,
We'll
my
get a
understanding is
flyer
that
out
we
this
don't know if it's going to be J&J, Pfizer, and Moderna, because at the farmers market, they show up with their mobile van.
Correct.
So it's not the same as when they came here and they did the drive-through clinic at the DPW, because then they just unload everything and they have all the access to the infrastructure that's in the building. So with reliance on just the van, I think there's a reduced number of, I think there's some holding requirements that might be different for Pfizer than for Moderna. So that may account for why, but we'll get all that information out in advance.
Correct. We're
Okay.
supposed to get a flyer from Benjamin Strong from the County Health Department by the end of this week, so we can start pushing that out.
Great.
Also, as you know, the township is transitioning from Nixle, which is our current resident alert system, to Rave Mobile Alert System, entitled Bedminster Alert. Just a couple advantages. Bedminster Alert is that residents can actually choose the type of information that they want to receive, whether it's dog and cat licensing, public health information, public safety, recreation, as opposed to Nixle. And the other thing is that they can also choose how they want to receive it via text message, telephone, or an email. So we have flyers that we have distributed, put it out on social media again. We're going to continue to hit all our normal distributions. It went on the Schools Friday folder again for this week. And in addition, we'll have flyers available at all the polling locations tomorrow, so that residents can pick up a copy.
Great. And we've also been obviously pushing it at the farmers market as well, and we'll continue to do so. There is something that I did miss during subcommittee reports, is that Committeeman Hickey and I both attended the OEM meeting last week, where we did a tabletop drill of an emergency situation, and Robin was there, as was Rodney. And our tabletop drill involved a Category 2 hurricane hitting the coast of New Jersey and coming straight through Bedminster. So with some of the unfortunate experiences we had with Ida, it was all certainly fresh in our minds as to what we should be doing. The 3 days out, the 2 days out, the 1 day out, the day of, and then the days after. I want to commend Chris Kroll, who is our OEM coordinator, as well as Zach Rubin, deputy coordinator. I mean, I think they ran a great meeting. It was really interesting to see everyone who was involved, their contributions. Everyone is on the same page, whether it's the police, whether it's our fire departments, both Forest Hills, Bedminster, and Pottersville, our DPW, and Robin, certainly even within the administrative offices and staff here, to know that we've got a plan, we've got protocols in place, and we will be having another follow-up OEM meeting that might be a little more interactive than a tabletop. So stay tuned on that. So sorry for neglecting to mention that earlier. Ordinances. We have no ordinances either for discussion or introduction or public hearing tonight. Consent agenda. We have nothing on the consent agenda. We have one resolution tonight. Resolution number 2021-141. This resolution authorizes the municipal clerk to certify that the Township Committee has reviewed the completed 2021 best practices inventory at a public meeting. Ms. Ray.
Sure. So this has been done every year, this time of year for the last, I want to say 5 or 6 years, since I went back to my records. And it focuses on municipalities' core competencies with regard to a number of different topics, from personnel to budget, financial administration, cybersecurity, and fire districts, shared services. And municipalities are to answer all of the questions, and we receive points for each of the questions, and it's based on how well you answer is your the municipal aid that you actually receive from the state. So I'm pleased to report that Bedminster Township has no aid withholding, so we will receive our full state aid
Oh, great.
based on the answers, which is typical of Bedminster. So you should all have a copy of the questions that are there. There are questions that are also non-scorable, just for information purposes towards the end.
Okay, are there any questions or comments for Ms. Ray, or any questions or comments regarding the best practices inventory and the reporting back from, I guess this is just a feed out of the answers?
That's correct. Those are the questions and how we've answered them in the point system. So we scored a 21. And those municipalities with 15 points or more have no aid that's withheld from them. We have a 21.
Good. Great. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, may we have a motion to approve resolution number 2021-141?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, that'll be a roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
And may we have a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote again. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any matters that Township Committee wants to put up for new business? Seeing none, let's cover old business. COVID-19, we've already covered that. DOT road improvements, I'm still waiting to hear back from DOT reps regarding improvements over at Hills Drive. Utilities, Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of quick updates. Altice is moving the Fiber to the Home project from their Government Affairs group to their project implementation team, which is normal in the course of what utilities do. So we should be receiving an update early this week as to who our lead project manager will be. I know the HOAs have been looking for some additional details on the when, where, and how of the big dig, so they can advise our residents and make a determination as to whether to proceed forward, so that should help answer some of those open questions. New Jersey American Water, I don't have an update on the Deer Haven Old Dutch project that was scheduled to wrap by the end of October, but I'll provide a closeout report at the next meeting.
That's right, they were supposed to actually not just close out the paving project, but also to connect those residents to the water line that they were supposed to have been connected 20-something years ago?
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Exactly. Reached out to a few of our reps from NJAW today, but apparently everybody's on vacation today, so we'll get an update for next meeting. Also, the chief, DPW, and I had a pre-construction meeting with New Jersey American Water about a week or so ago regarding the main replacement on Route 206 between Somerville Road and Lamington Road. That work is currently underway and should wrap up shortly. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you. And Committeeman Stevenson, the Pluckman Park housing situation.
Yes, there was a complaint about the mailboxes over there. I communicated with Abe. He got back to me at the end of last week indicating that, yes, there is one box that is rotting out. They're on top of it. They're going to have it replaced, repaired. I thanked them for that. Also heard from zoning or code enforcement on the lighting situation, but it didn't seem like there was anything amiss. So
Okay.
there's a bit of a gap there in terms of what we're hearing and what was seen. So we'll have to go out and continue to work with the residents to figure out what that issue is, but it looked like everything was in order.
And just to follow up, Robin, so once again, we had put them, the residents following that presentation, they came here, gave them access, certainly gave them the information for legal services of
Correct.
Northwest New Jersey. And have we heard anything further, whether they ever,
Other than just the one comment from
Just the one
Susan
comment?
that they needed to get more organized.
okay, all right, okay. So with that, it is 7:46. We do not have an executive session tonight. We'll go through Township Committee comments, and then we will adjourn and get Ms. Ray out so she can handle her duties as clerk, overseeing voting tomorrow. So with that, Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just echo your comments about the loss of life that we heard about earlier today. It's really coming in real time, so obviously echo your sentiments and certainly mourn with the family and tragedy. As for tomorrow, but everybody, by the time you're hearing this on the recording, it'll be over, but encourage everybody to get out and vote, and I want to wish everybody the best of luck, especially the two of you. So
Thank you.
Good luck, and get out and vote. But that's all I've got.
Thank you. Committeeman Hickey.
Mayor, thank you. Maybe just to echo Committeeman Stevenson's comments. So that's all I'll say for now. Thank you.
Committeewoman Mareski.
And I will do the same, echo the two gentlemen, but I want to say thank you to everybody who participated in the trunk or treat. It's probably a little difficult with kids and COVID now, so that probably made it nice and easy for parents and the kids and everybody to have a good time. And again, get out and vote.
That's right, and we just hope for a smooth and easy election, no complications. Ms. Race, especially for you, since you're in charge of Bedminster voting. And with that, may we have a motion to adjourn for the night?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would hit the gavel, but I think, the judge moved it over there. So with that, good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, John. Thank you, Chief.
All right.